the future of MI. You heard from Dr. Tate earlier about the past, and now we will go into the future. When I was asked to talk about the future of MI, what MI should be doing, I was trying to come up with a phrase that would reflect my thinking about the region. And I came up with this phrase. You may see on the screen, if you could see. I call it, and at one time, I was so fond of the song Bridge Over the Troubled Waters region. When we try to develop the program for MI, we have to be aware of what we foresee happening in our region, so that the program we implement will be suitable, will be supportive of that development. And for the last 1 or 2 years, we realized that the region is going to be an important part of Southeast Asia. Now, I think it's going to be an important part of the whole of Asia. The whole of Asia. Now, this development that we have observed last year in July, we had a macro forum in Khon Kaen in order to develop the program. And at that time, our interest was to integrate or to move GMS into AEC. We knew that AEC was coming, is actually coming, is happening. Somebody said it's going to be in 2015, but it has started earlier and it is ongoing. We hope it will be more or less complete by 2015. So we know that AEC, ASEAN Economic Community, is moving very fast. And GMS is part of AEC. And we know that China was also moving very fast. Nothing can stop China these days. You know, like bullet trains, high-speed trains running all over the place. So how could we adjust to this development? That's why we came up with a program about how to integrate countries in GMS into AEC. Site at the time was being confirmed practically every month. Practically every month. Things seem to be happening even faster than we thought. We had a meeting in July. We started some activities. And then in November, we had the third bridge open, crossing the Mekong River from Thailand into Laos, PDR, into Vietnam. That was the third. The first one was built by assistant from Australia before New Zealand could do it. Australia and New Zealand, they always compete. They came first. At that time, Prime Minister was Bob Hawke. He was visiting Thailand in 1989 when we saw the change of the world, political economy, because of Mr. Gorbachev's statements here and there, and we knew that something was happening. 11, day 11, month 11, year 2011. At 11 minutes past 11 o'clock in the morning, remember the signing of the Versailles Treaty, remember Woodrow Wilson's statement about end of all conflicts. So we thought 11 was 6. Then we knew also that Myanmar was coming along in terms of economic opening. We already saw that earlier on, 2009, moving faster than I thought. I was at that time quite quite concerned about the role of this lady Aung San Suu Kyi and how she would treat the generals. How would the generals accommodate the lady, and how would the lady accommodate the general? How they accommodate each other is so important. Then I saw the very encouraging development, dynamism. The economic dynamism which is needed by the world economic community at the moment. When we see problems in Europe, which is going to be with us for some time. I am a finance person. I know that when anybody is heavily in debt like that, it will take a long time to get out of trouble. Europe is heavily in debt. Even the US is heavily in debt. So if we are to expect dynamism coming from somewhere in the world, it has to be from Asia. It is expected of all of us to continue to move the global economy, And if we could integrate by way of GMS, if we could integrate by way of AEC, if we could integrate by way of ASEAN Plus 3, ASEAN Plus 6, and so on, I think we can continue to support this Asian economic dynamism. So that being the case, I think that for the next phase of our MI development, I mean, every institution has a role to play in the so-called Asian economic dynamism, MI being one such institution. So we would, instead of, or we would transform from being a training institute for market economy, which was the intention at the beginning, to be a capacity building institute for market economy, training for market economy. Now we have to be institute of training for Asian economic dynamism. And that means a lot about human capacity development, how to integrate along all these economic corridors that we have with the intention of connecting with the rest of the world. Connecting first among ourselves, connecting next to other Asian countries, and connecting them to the rest of the world. The scheme of things will be much bigger. And at the same time, we have to be mindful of the fact that a lot of our business people are small. So they have to be positively affected by this development, meaning they have to be a part of this development, meaning that this development has to be inclusive, meaning that this development has to be equitable. So this training for a new kind of market economy, we were trained under so-called market capitalism, and now we question market capitalism. Looking at Europe today, looking at the US today, we have to modify the kind of capitalism or market economy which is suitable for us, so that we could contribute towards this Asian economic dynamism. And that being the case, if you look at some of the works that we have ongoing, it's all about this kind of training, all about this kind of human capacity building to strengthen our economy in a way that will support the growth of the region. What we will be discussing tomorrow, and we will be discussing for next year, year after, is going to be along this line on how to make our program even more suitable for Asian economic dynamism. We have to think big. And I think at the moment we are ready to think big. Thank you very much.